Good Friday morning. Good Friday morning. Radio Free Auburn. I'm yours, Uncle T-Bone Wade Minute, here for you with the next hour. We're going to catch up on lots of breaking news on the local circuit and in the college football world. Probably plays a few tunes by our good friends Jupiter Cody. That's Matthew Mays. Yes, Facebook, he has given me permission to play some tunes. Going to share some knowledge, share some links, and share some time with you this Friday, getting ready for the holiday weekend. We're going to celebrate the birth of this great country, July 4th, next Tuesday. I think the celebrations for a lot of us is probably going to begin early on Friday and carry into Tuesday. On that note, I hope that everyone has a safe holiday weekend. Let's just get that disclaimer out of the way. I want you to straight up hydrate. It is hot outside, hottest days of the year so far. This is a dangerous heat. We're going to come in Sunday for about 30 minutes and remind you of that on Sense of Green Sunday. If you're having any HVAC issues right now, I want you to call Sense of Green in Opelika and talk to my friend Jeff Decotu. That's the French Indian from Boston, MA. He's been down here 9 years. That's just a quick reminder here on Fairway Auto Brokers Fridays. It's super hot. Hydrate. Check on the pets. Make sure they have plenty of water, plenty of shade, plenty of cool spots. Check on your elderly neighbors. Check on the kids. Let's just all check on one another over the holiday weekend and make sure everyone's safe. Catch us for about a quick 30 on Sunday here at Radio Free Auburn. That's Sense of Green Sunday. There is a tremendous amount of stuff happening right now in the college football world. Georgia, there's some nasty stories percolating out of Athens. I can't wait to get my Georgia friends' comments on that. We're going to talk about a little BCS predictions for the upcoming season. I've gone in and done a little research on who I think might be a few outsider teams that could crash the party this last year in the four. That includes playoff talk. We always talk about college football playoffs. It's mind-blowing how far college football has come and where it's going with the playoffs and the amount of money at stake. I got some thoughts on expansion. I was reading up and doing a little research in my Lindy's, my Athons, my Phil Steels, and kind of, checking around on things and where I think college football is going. It's not, anything earth shattering, but I do have a good point to make, especially about UCLA and USC leaving the Pac 10 or Pac 12, whatever it was called, and joining the Big 10 clear across the country. We don't like to get political here, but I got some thoughts on that. I want to really wrap up too on what happened to LSU. Congratulations first to LSU, and I told you it was must watch TV. The college baseball World Series was very exciting. The first game was fantastic, and then they were both blowouts. But I do have some thoughts on college baseball too, and LSU going on probation in basketball and football and winning the college baseball World Series. Does anybody even care about what the NCAA does anymore? I have an article I do want to find though about the NCAA. I read from AL.com and share it. It has to do with NIL. And, we're going to talk about Kirk Herbstreit's complete obsession with Nick Saban now, too, if we have time for it. I mean, it's just out in the open. AL.com, I love Nick Saban, period. He's my favorite coach. I've been saying it. We've all been saying it forever. And Nick Saban's great. I think he's awesome for college football. But if you think that there's no bias in media, especially, on a local and state and national level, then you got to get your head out of the sand. So let's start it out first. We're going to get to the Fairway Auto Broker deal of the day right at the end of this first segment. And then we also have some special news that we're going to promote about something happening in Auburn tonight at a good friend of mine's restaurant slash bar slash great place to hang out, Moe's Bent Creek. We're going to get to all that at the end of this first segment, but We want to talk about what's going on in Athens right now with the University of Georgia football program. And I'm going to tell you, there are some nasty stories that have percolated out of Athens from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. This is where all this started, and I'm going to tell you that there, when your team is in the news this time of year in college football, historically it was bad news, right? Now college football has changed because recruiting is full bore right now because the signing day was moved up from traditional February to December, and you gotta get after it. Now I do know that there is some type of quiet period coming up in college football recruiting. I'm not well versed at that, but I will say there's a lot going on. So if your team is in the news right now, for example, Alabama just got a commitment where they flipped somebody from Phoenix City, a defensive lineman who was committed to Utah of all places. How do you get from Phoenix City to Utah? But they flipped them, and Alabama fans were happy, and they were in the news, right? So it wasn't that big a deal. But I'm going to share this link right here, right now with you in the comments section. And this is from USA Today. This is from USA Today. Kirby Smart, the two-time defending national head coach at Georgia. Kirby Smart, headline, Georgia football program need to heed warning signs before it's too late. And this is from our good friend Dan Woken, who just about everybody can't stand. A lot of people call him Dan Woken. I think that's a little unfair. The guy's just trying to do his job, right? And he's basically doing what the national media does, recirculating articles and research that come out of that really come out of a regional place like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. No offense to them, Chip Towers, going after Georgia football is what Georgia football fans are telling me. But apparently, over in Athens, there's been a recent batch of some pretty nasty stories that include underage drinking, recruits gone wild, reckless driving, sexual assaults. And those are really hard to talk about, right? Sexual assaults on campus with football players. The AJC report, according to Woken, included new details about specific incidents, including one in 2022 in which a recruit wound up under investigation for sexual assault during a visit after breaking curfew and getting drunk as a 16-year-old. Now, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I got drunk as a 16-year-old. Probably shouldn't have got in more trouble than I did. That player, defensive tackle Jamal Jarrett, was not charged and is set to play for Georgia as a freshman this fall. In another instance, the newspaper found Georgia staffer Brian Gant was in the room in 2021 when police interviewed former Bulldogs receiver George Pickens, who now plays for the Steelers, FYI, about an allegation of sexual assault made against linebacker Adam Anderson by a woman who said that she passed out drunk and awoke as Anderson penetrated her without consent. That does not sound very good to yours truly. According to the Journal-Constitution, friends of the accuser had told the police Pickens had implicated Anderson, but with his parents and the staffer in the room, according to court records, Pickens declined to answer questions. Uh-oh. Do we have Georgia staffers involved in sexual assault cover-ups? What do we have here, University of Georgia? And when Anderson asked to be released on bond, Gant was there to serve as a character witness along with 8 Georgia football players in asking for his release. Anderson is currently facing a second rape charge, was subsequently suspended and never played for Georgia again. Well, that's good. Goodbye. So we got some major problems there. These reports from the AJC are now documenting up to 11 separate instances since Kirby Smart has been head coach at the University of Georgia. Right? Since he's been head coach at the University of Georgia. And that seems like an awful lot. What's the university been doing about it? 11 instances. Have all these players been kicked out of school? Have they been arrested? Have they been charged? I don't know. I mean, you got to be fair here to them. I mean, we're all innocent until proven guilty. But this sounds like a pretty nasty story, and this is one of the few things where I think could actually derail a program. I had a lot of people begin to send me stuff about the University of Georgia earlier in the week, right when the story broke. But this goes back a little bit further. There's some guys on TikTok. I do not do TikTok. Okay? I do not do TikTok. So I did not see these. I did not do the research here, but there's some folks who've been sending me some stuff about things happening at the University of Georgia for a while. You can find those on TikTok. I'm going to try and see if I can't link that stuff. I'll save those videos, but I don't know if they're going to allow me to play a video within a live video here at Facebook and Radio Free Auburn. So, look, you don't want to be in the news right now if you're a college football program unless it has something to do with you winning recruits. Okay? Everything should be running smoothly. You're going into a quiet period. You're going into a break. Everyone's going to get to relax and take a big, deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. College football's almost here. In and out. In and out, right? Just like your golf swing. And you don't want to be in the news, man. You don't want to be in the news. And when you're the defending two-time national back-to-back champion and you've got a schedule that's about as weak as well water coming up this year, and you're probably the best team that's gone for a three-peat possibility in the last history of college football back to the 30s when Minnesota was doing it, the Golden Gophers. Who knows if that was even their mascot then? Like when they played like 6 games and they went 5-0-1 and won a national title, or 3-2 and claimed one like some folks. You're telling me you got your hometown newspaper, basically, Athens being about 60 miles from Atlanta, going after you. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And it was Scott Wilder was 7-on-7 then as well. Rabbit football with no face mask. People playing both ways and trying to wreck one another. Just like the NFL, Scott, when we used to play over there on Apache Drive in Seminole, the neighborhood football league, my friend, Class 8, 1989, Scott Wilder in the house. Go on down there if you want to and get you a good ride from Auburn Hyundai. He does a heck of a job down there. He's a good dude. That's how we do it here at Radio Free Auburn. No one's paying me, man. We just try and spread the word about good folks. So they're in the news. They're in the news right now, the University of Georgia, with some nasty accusations. And, you're getting just the basic statement right now from Georgia. We take seriously all sexual assault and rape accusations on our campus, not just within the athletic program. Please, everybody, go to the mountains, go up to Highlands and Cashers and hide out for the next 2 weeks, and maybe this will all blow over. Why hasn't someone gotten a comment from Kirby Smart yet? I mean, he's the face of that program and, heck, face of the whole athletic department over there. I mean, he's making it rain over there. They've got a collective over there where you have to pledge over $1 million over the next 5 years to the athletic program. They've got over 119 people already signed up. They're not there because of the chemistry department. And chemistry is very important, folks. I get it. Why hasn't Kirby Smart come on here, right now, and made a comment? Very interesting story. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. It's a pretty nasty story that I'd like to get my good friend Keenan Rose take on it. That's a good Georgia dude and a fan, one of the original fans of Radio Free Auburn. And he's people like him, regardless of fan base, or why we do what we do here. Trying to put good people together, man, and make good deals. So Georgia's got a little off the field problem. Sexual assault, reckless driving, DUI, program out of control. It's over in Athens, right? It's over. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. They got a really good schedule this year to become a three-peat. And then, does the average fan care? I mean, really, I'm a fan. This show is from a fan for the fan. That's Radio Free Auburn, trying to put good people together. Do Georgia fan, do you care? I mean, I've been on your websites this morning. I've been on your message boards, and I've heard things like hit piece. Here they are again after us, attacking Kirby for no good reason because he's got a bowl cut. Another hit piece. The hit man's going to be on 92.9. We got to get on there and run him. That's what we do as fans, right? That's what we do. We get after it. When there's bad news that breaks. When there's bad news that breaks, I call it the 4 Ds, right? The first step is to defend. Or step 1 and 2 really can be interchangeable. There's defend, defame, deflect, and then it's delusional time. Like when you know the cat's out of the bag and you're in trouble and you still deny it. It's just we'll just call it the 4 fan deny process, right? The 4 fan deny process. Defame, defend, deflect, delusional, and Georgia fan right now on your message board is in defame mode, big time. We are running a little bit late. I need to take a break. Thanks for being here at Radio Free Auburn, your Facebook Live video every Friday, brought to you by our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. Charlie Cox, they all have to go. They want 30 out of there by the end of the month, by July. They all got to go. He's out there slinging cars like candy bars. He's too busy to call in today, but he did check in with us. Come on down to Fairway Auto Brokers today for the Radio Free Auburn Uncle T-Bone specials of the day. There's too many to list and trying to make it happen on the last day of the month. Be sure to say Uncle T's magic words, and that is Uncle T sent me. I'm going to take a break. We're going to listen to a little Jupiter Cody for a second. Great song, Breckenridge. I'd love to be out there right now out of this 105-degree heat. I bet it feels wonderful out there. And then I'm going to link the truck I found, which looks to be one of the best deals I've ever seen in pre-owned vehicles in East Alabama. Here we go! Radio Free Auburn. It's Breckenridge, baby, Jupiter Cody. Check them out. The weekend is here. Let's be somebody. love it. That is Jupiter Cody right there. This is Radio Free Auburn, and I have posted the Fairway Auto Brokers Friday deal of the day. Can you feel it? I sure can. This is one of the best deals I've ever seen in the pre-owned market in East Alabama, and I want you to go down there and I want you to get with Charlie Cox right now. It's in the comment section. This is a 2017 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT premium package. This thing is a beautiful metallic silver color. Today's price, $33,900. It only has 54,911 miles on it. How can a 2017 premium package 1500 GMC Sierra only have 54,900? I'm out. I'm going to get it right now. Somebody hold me back. Somebody keep these alligators down, baby. I've got to go get this truck. Scroll through these pictures. This thing is in, it looks like it just came off the assembly line. It looks brand new. Brand new tires. Oh, it's got a real shine to it, folks. I can tell you right now, if you'll go down and see Charlie Cox, he will hook you up. This is one of the best deals I've ever seen in the pre-owned market. This is like pre-COVID prices. I guess COVID's finally done. I mean, this is a fantastic ride. Got a Bose stereo system in it. Oh, Lord, I'm going to have to get my finances straight and get down there and see Charlie myself. Get down to Fairway Auto Brokers. There's your Fairway Auto Brokers deal of the day. Tell them, as usual, open sesame. Uncle T-Bone sent me. So we're talking about University of Georgia football program. They're done. It's over. We can move on from them. Thanks, Kirby. It's been real. You got sexual assaults and DUIs and problems on campus. Shocker. Just kidding. They'll probably win the national title again this year. I'm going to really quickly, before we move on, I want everyone who's going to be in town tonight to consider getting down to Moe's Bent Creek. That's Moe's Barbecue at Bent Creek, my good friend Ricky Carmack's place. They've got a guy playing tonight, and there's no cover, no jacket required, Phil Collins. They got $3 bushwhackers till 9 o'clock. I'll probably get down there about 6 o'clock and have 30 of them if I can. But they got a guy playing down there tonight. I met in a golf tournament who's on the local circuit. You know, we love to promote local artists here, local creative thinkers, people who are outside the box. This is Blanton Callen, the piano man. And I'm going to post this so you can listen to it yourself right here in the comment section. He'll be down there at 8:30 to 11 tonight. That is ridiculous how good a music he is. This is going to be really fun. This is going to be very exciting. And this is Blanton Callen, the piano man, live tonight for free at Radio Free Auburn, right? We're just giving you the best deals of the day. And this is him about a few years back at Dreamland playing covers, man. I'm going to hush my mouth and let him take this. Blanton Callen, tonight, Moe's Bent Creek. Be there. I'll be there. Oh my God, that's awesome. Love that song. In the chest. Sing it, Blanton Callen, tonight. Be there. I'll be there. Might have this cap on. Be drinking $3 bushwhackers. That's Blanton Callen, the piano man, tonight. Live at Moe's Bent Creek in Auburn, Alabama. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be a good time and a way to start the holiday weekend out right. My man Blanton, Trey Ayers in. Blanton is incredible in $3 bushies. I'm trying to get a sitter. Get one. Get one. Don't bring a baby to the bar. Don't bring a baby to the bar. Trey Ayers, man, over at Star Insurance. Give Trey a call, baby. God, we're having some fun. Georgia's all in disarray. It just breaks my heart. So the BCS, all right. I went through and I believe that I have found. Let me find my list. Every single team. Where's the camera right here? That has ever played in the BCS national title game or the BCS playoffs. And I believe it's 22 teams, which was more than I thought. I thought there would have only been about 15. Okay? There's 22 teams that I count. Now, if I'm wrong and I missed one, and I'm not going to list them all out because the voice will probably go out, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. Right? Shocker, Alabama's on that list. 22 teams that I count have played for the BCS national title game going back to 1998 when the BCS Bowl Series started, or in the 4-game playoffs when it shifted in 2014. If you remember in 1998, Tennessee in that inaugural game won the national title with T. Martin at quarterback over Florida State and Bobby Bowden. Then Florida State came back the next year and beat Virginia Tech. We have not seen Virginia Tech in the playoffs or the BCS national title game since. Okay? And several of these teams have been in it multiple times and dominated. I call it the Big Five: Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson. And you can begin to put possibly some, in Georgia, right? And then Michigan's kind of coming up. LSU's been hanging around. But really, the 4 teams that I think have been in there the most, and now Georgia being 5, is Alabama, Georgia. I just said them, whatever. All right, Clemson's in there. They've had a good run. So there's 22 teams in there. There's a 4-game playoff this season. Everyone's got Georgia and Michigan already in this thing because their schedules are much easier than everybody else's comparatively. Then you probably got some Ohio State lingering around. Okay, USC's trying to jump in there this year with Lincoln Riley. They almost got there last year. Alabama's always hanging around. LSU's definitely in the mix. Okay, definitely in the mix this season. Texas, if they could come out and get a big victory at Alabama early in the season, would be in the mix, right? Several good teams. Washington's kind of rising up a little bit. They are on the list. They have been in the playoffs. So, in next season, everything goes to the 12 game, and it's going to completely radicalize college football. And that list of 22 teams that have been in the playoffs is probably going to go to, very quickly over 5 years to almost 32, 36 teams with a 12-game playoff that get in there. Some of the teams that I look forward to immediately jump into the playoffs that have not been in there when they go to 12 are Penn State, Wisconsin, Utah, Texas A&M, North Carolina, even Pitt. A team like Pitt could jump in there quickly with one good season, right? Some outlier teams like Appalachian State, Troy, Central Florida could do it, right? I mean, your 10th ranked team in the country, you ought to be able to get into the top 12. So this thing's going to change, but I was really kind of shocked that there were 22 teams that had already been in. Some of these teams that I'd forgotten about, like Virginia Tech, Nebraska, Cincinnati, Michigan State, they were horrible last year. I may have left them. No, I got them in there. Remember when Oregon was a player in it? Washington got in one year. So you're going to see a lot of diversity and what, like some people like to say, equity in college football. I think that they're really pushing. I think the national media, and I think you're seeing Kirk Herbstreit spearhead this, is really pushing for Alabama to land in that number 4 spot no matter what, or one of those top 4 spots no matter what this season in the last Final Four, because they were left out last year. And man, Herbstreit has been crazy over Nick Saban lately. Here's a recent article that came out where I'm just going to go ahead and say Alabama's going to be in the Final Four, even if they got 3 losses this year, with the way Kirk Herbstreit's at. Kirk Herbstreit, AL.com, looks to Nick Saban as mentor. He's probably my favorite coach. Well, okay, shocker. I've watched, and I like Kirk, man. He's like worked circles around me. He works circles around college football. The guy's in Death Valley and Clemson on game day in the morning, and somehow he teleports out to the Oregon Cal game at night to call it on ABC on Saturday night, Pac-10 after dark. But there's the article. I just posted it, and Kirk loves some Nick. Doesn't everybody? I don't think he's been great for college football, and I'm glad he's been here. I think he's made Auburn's football program better. A rising tide raises all ships, right? And so this has been a string of articles from AL.com. Here was another one about a week ago where Kirk Herbstreit tabs Alabama for natty. Issues warning, just when you blank say Nick's done, he's back. He's the boogeyman. Never count Nick out. Be careful listening to these people. That's right, when Alabama comes back like Jason Voorhees. From Friday the 13th, Nick's got his hockey mask on and his machete. They're back. Don't ever count him out. He just throws down the trump card and whips everyone's ass. I quote, Herbstreit said, I haven't really even dug in. I'm already leaning to Alabama to win the national title. Just when you say he's done, you can never count him out. You can't ever kill him, man. He's like Matthew Myers, not Matthew Mays from Jupiter Code, but Matthew Myers from Halloween. I'd play the song, but that'd be a copyright violation on Facebook standards. Can't do it. I love that song. You know it's time to go fetch some candy when the Halloween song comes in and it's October and Nick Saban, you can't kill him. They're coming back to win a national title. Just when you think he's done, he's back from the brink. Hell, he's been to hell and back. Can't kill him. And look, Nick Saban, I've said it 100 times, I'll say it 100 more. He's the greatest of all time. He's the greatest CEO I've ever seen in college football. His process is incredible. I really need to get his book and read it. I think everyone should. Probably help all of us out in life. Get up and get after it. Forget the last play. Be better every day. Just a little bit better, but the last play's done. Play the next one. You never know what happens. I love it. I love it. You can't ever count Nick Saban out, according to Kirk Herbstreit. Duh! He's the greatest coach of all time. Or one of them, for sure. He's on Mount Rushmore of coaches. Can't ever count Nick Saban out. Really? At Alabama, when they recruit lights out every single year? Of course you can't count them out. But they're not going to win a national title this season because of Nick Saban. They're going to win a national title if they figure out how to replace Bryce Young, one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen in college football. One of the greatest playmakers I've ever seen in college football. And Will Anderson, who, Alabama people were telling me last year before the start of the season, he'd be one of the first defensive players since Charles Woodson to win the Heisman. He's that good. They lost a ton off that team, and they had to go get a transfer quarterback to try and replace Bryce Young. And if they don't even get close to adequate play, they're not going to win at all. It has nothing to do with Nick Saban being the boogeyman and you can't count him out. You got to replace Bryce Young somehow, some way, who probably should have won the Heisman again last year. Number 1 pick in the draft to the Carolina Panthers. They're thrilled to have him. He's a great player. Let me put it to you like this. If you had a draft in college football and you could draft any of the greatest players of all time and you're around 4 or 5, would you take Bryce Young as your pick or Herschel Walker? You got to really think about that. Or Bo Jackson. You got to really think about that. Now, I've said forever I'd take Cam Newton first. That's the greatest season I've ever seen from a college football player. That's just what I think. Would I take Tim Tebow over Bryce Young? Whoa. I don't know. Bryce Young was fantastic. So you lose Bryce Young. You got some guy who kind of played quarterback at Notre Dame who's oft injured, and a couple other guys you're so comfortable with, you had to go get an oft injured quarterback from Notre Dame to come in. But you can't count Nick Saban out, according to Kirk Herbstreit. Let me tell you another way they're going to fix winning a national title. It has nothing to do with Nick Saban and never counting him out. It's him and his entire staff making that team more disciplined and not having like 15 penalties a game. Extending drives for teams like Tennessee and LSU took advantage of it and put a knife in their back. Calming Dallas Turner down from being one of the most dirty players in college football and him wrecking folks 3 seconds after the play and getting 15 yarded. That's how Alabama's going to win a national title, being more disciplined, right? Less penalties, replacing one of the best SEC quarterbacks of all time. It has nothing to do with Nick Saban and you can't count him out. Everyone knows that. That's ridiculous. Now we're getting a little weird, Kirk. And guess what, college football fan? You're going to turn on game day. You're going to turn on game day, and that's the first thing you're going to hear right out of the mouth, right out of the chute. Week 1, who knows where they'll be, and it's going to be Kirk Herbstreit. Hey, happy to be back. You can't count Nick Saban out. I love him. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, there's no bias in media these days. That's kind of a lazy journalism, in my opinion, right? I mean, it's like, it's the dead season. Let's try and get our name out there. Let's just throw Nick Saban around out there. Tell all the Alabama fans that I love him. Y'all quit blowing up my Twitter, for saying TCU should have been in over y'all. Y'all leave me alone. And you never can count Nick Saban out. He's the boogeyman. He's Freddy Krueger. Don't go to sleep, little child. He'll get you in your dreams. Of course you can't count Nick Saban out. That's lazy journalism, man. This is kind of why I do what I do, because I get tired of the same old BS that I've seen over the last 30 years from these sports guys, man. It's not everybody. There's a lot of people thinking outside the box. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, you're telling me that your big story, AL.com, is you can't count Nick Saban out? I've watched The Football Life on him. I need to get his book and read it. I've watched him day in, day out since 2006 when he got off that plane and Alabama fans in a drunken stupor went crazy like it was a Kiss concert in the Kingdom in 1977. I have seen it. Of course you can't count him out. That's not news. That's not news. It'd be like me getting on here and just pitting Auburn fan versus Alabama fan like it was the Big Cat days and Trooper and Looper running around with towels. When it just got so heated that some goon poisoned the trees at Auburn. And it took, unfortunately, the tornadoes in 2011 to calm everything down in that rivalry, that terrible day. Over 400 tornadoes. I really think that's when the rivalries began. Everybody took a deep breath. In and out. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, you talk about lazy journalism. Let's just, I don't know, AL.com, let's just write an article about Joe Blow and Joe Blow Jr. fighting on radio show about Auburn and Alabama on the Iron Bowl. There's an original thought. You can't count Nick Saban out. Thank you, Kirk, for telling me that. We'll take a quick break. We've got a few minutes left to go here on a Friday at Radio Free Auburn. Thank you so much for being here. I'm yours truly, Uncle T-Bone Wade Man at Auburn High, class of 1993. And I want you to get down to Fairway Auto Brokers and see my friend Charlie Cox, class of 1995, Auburn High. Tell him Uncle T-Bone sent you. Let's go with a little Jupiter Cody, Life Got in the Way. Jackson Hole, man. I'd like to be out there too. Beat the heat, hydrate. We'll be right back.
Texas stove. On a bucket full of dreams. Jackson Hole. When I'm heading up the old Cascade Canyon, pitching camp hurricane bass, and the things I thought would last forever somehow never seem to last.
Golly, playing, man. Bend them strings, baby. All right, that's Jackson Hole, Jupiter Cody. I'm Uncle T-Bone, Wade Bennett, Auburn High, class of 1993. This is Radio Free Auburn on a Fairway Auto Brokers Friday, brought to you by our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers 1 and 2 in Auburn and Opelika. I posted the Fairway Auto Broker deal of the day and getting some very positive response from that. Our good friend Scott Wilder, class 89 Auburn High, chimed in and said that's a great deal, and it sure is. Get down there and tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me. You'll get the best deal on all pre-owned high-quality SUVs, vans, trucks, and sedans. They sometimes have mystery machines down there as well, so just tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Having a great time today, this Friday, going into the holiday weekend. Kirby Smart, Georgia, off-the-field problems. It's over in Athens. Looking for response from my friends Diamond David Fox and Kenan Rose, our good Georgia fans here that we love. BCS predictions. I mean, it's over, folks. National championship for Alabama. Don't even play the games. Kirk Herbstreit, I love Nick. Just professes his love to the whole world about how he loves Nick, and you can never count him out. He's the boogeyman. He's Jason from Friday the 13th, and he's telling everybody, this is my national championship year and the last year of the Final Four, going to 12 games next year in the playoffs. We gave you some teams to watch out for here soon. I think that Penn State might be a team to watch out for this year, and Utah. They have both been very close to getting into those Final Fours. But it's Alabama's. It's over. They'll probably be favored in every game. Don't even play the games. Just give them a ring, and y'all just, play for second. Other things happening in college football. Since I've been gone and taken a hiatus from Radio Free Auburn, now I'm back, forgot that UCLA and USC will be joining the Big Ten next year. Although there's already more than 10 teams in that conference, they still call it that, I believe. In this evolve and adaptation of college football into basically what's going to happen, there's going to be 4 mega conferences of 20 teams. UCLA and USC are the University of Southern California. For all those that don't know, in the University of California, Los Angeles, they're both in LA. Historic programs. UCLA, in my opinion, probably has arguably the best college football uniforms that have ever existed. I love it. I love their color scheme. Everybody does. USC, I mean, golly. They got a man on a horse with a sword. Okay? It's pretty buck. It's pretty buck. If you don't follow this show, when I use the word buck, that means it's amazing. It's awesome. It's fantastic. That's Auburn language for when I was growing up. And so they're going to go and they're going to join a conference clear across the country in the North, Midwest, and Northeast, and East Coast. All right? UCLA and USC in Southern California are leaving the Pacific Coast Conference and joining a conference clear across the country. And they're from California. Okay, and I don't like to get political here, but we all know in today's world that California is probably just a little bit more liberal a state than Alabama. It's blue. It's heavy blue. Whatever, it's their prerogative. You want to live there. It is one of the most beautiful states and places. There are parts of California that are unbelievably beautiful. I highly recommend visiting there. Don't know if I'd want to live there. Don't know if I can afford to live there. But I'm telling you right now, it's in California. They're going to the Big Ten. Okay? They're going to the Big Ten. Some of their away games next year for USC include at Maryland, at Purdue, at Penn State, at Northwestern. At Maryland, that's from one coast across the other. UCLA is even better at Rutgers in New Jersey, Michigan, Iowa, and Indiana. And in this article I'm about to post from SI.com, the actual week-by-week schedule hasn't been hammered out yet. Can you imagine if their schedule includes, say for USC, they open the season in conference play at Maryland, come home, host Ohio State, host Illinois, then go at Penn State, at Purdue. The amount of travel is what I'm talking about. The land distance from campus to campus for their road games average 2,336 miles for USC, and for the Bruins, according to this SI article, 2,240 miles on average are their road games. But yet, climate change, folks, right? What about the environment? What kind of ESG score do these programs have now? How can one of the most woke states in the country, who politicians from there often hammer down my throat that we're all a bunch of sinners because we drive beautiful pre-owned trucks like I provided on Fairway Auto Brokers, Fairway Auto Broker deal of the day, 2017 GMC Sierra, it's V8. I love it. But Uncle T-Bone, we're killing the environment, so you need to give John Kerry and Al Gore more tax money. What kind of carbon footprint are you Californians allowing UCLA and USC to put on all of us? If climate change is so real and so bad, how come the University of California Regents said, no, you're not joining that conference, UCLA? They couldn't do anything with USC. They're a private school. But UCLA was like, nah, y'all go. It's good. Increase your carbon footprint by exponentially more. It's okay because we need the money. And there it is. Don't give me your climate change crap. The science is settled. Humans are horrible. It's hotter and the polar bears are going to die unless you give me more tax money as I fly around in a private jet because I'm John Kerry and Al Gore. And USC and UCLA are going 2,300 miles across the country with a carbon footprint to play football. Scott Bowden said they're going to fly an electric plane. Ooh, that sounds like taking that sounds like taking a sub down to see the Titanic. I'm out. Here's this article. I'm posting it right here. You can see for yourself. It even says something logistically irrational. You think? You think it's irrational? You think climate change is real, but UCLA, USC, you go fetch us millions in college football dollars because everything's changing to 4 mega conferences? What a joke. Yeah, the climate has changed in college football, and you're either on the inside or like Gordon Gekko said, you're on the outside from Wall Street. You're either in or you're out. Yeah, climate change is real. The climate has changed in college football, and it's all about the Bucks. Yeah, nice carbon footprint you're leaving there. Your ESG score going to be, you'll probably have somebody. That's just such a great deal for us. Rules for thee, not for me. Hypocritical stat of the day. These teams are traveling 2,300 miles on average to away games. Well, they gonna take the train? They're going to take it to the bank with a suitcase of money and then continue to tell me that I can't have my 2017 V8 GMC Sierra because it puts out too much carbon. Okay. That's ridiculous. With that, you can just clearly see what's happening in college football now. Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. The Big Ten decided it needed to keep up or was going to be left out. They went out and got the LA market. They got UCLA and USC coming in. There's still room for a couple more teams to jump into these conferences. And then when that happens, what's left over, the Pac-10 and the old Southwest Conference, for all you old schoolers out there, the Big 12, they join. They bring on 20 teams. That leaves the ACC to expand probably down into Florida with the UCFs of the world, God knows who else. And you got four 4 conferences with 20 teams each. Excuse me. I get worked up, man. I hate the hypocritical nature that I see out there, and I gotta call it out. Okay, I don't want to make this into some kind of. This is not Fox News. This is not MSNBC. I don't really care who you vote for, and I don't need to know. But don't give me your climate change crap, California, when you're allowing UCLA to go on the road 2,300 miles. I mean, damn it, are their volleyball teams going to have to travel too? Are there women's soccer teams and their wrestling teams and their baseball teams, are they all going to be traveling back and forth across the country? Kind of seems like y'all might be affecting climate change with your carbon footprint. Yeah, it's real. There's climate change, all right. Yeah, in college football, and it's all about the buck. Okay? It's all about the buck. You heard it here first. That's ridiculous. Joining the Big Ten. That's just unbelievable to me. I'd forgotten about it. UCLA could be one of those teams that pops into the 12-game playoff now, though, too. Smart move by them. Don't care. Damn the climate. Damn the carbon footprint. We got to make them dollars, baby, for college football. And that's really and truly what it's all about and what it's come to. LSU, we talked about last Friday, got put on probation. Football, basketball. It seems like to me, the articles that I read, they're basically just blaming poor old Les Miles, who's probably pretty much the equivalent, speaking of politics, of Joe Biden these days. He's done. Poor old Les, chewing grass and paying players. Some $180,000 paid to Vandal Alexander from some fund down in Louisiana that had to do with, I believe, a medical center. I don't know. Nobody really cares because the NCAA is fangless now. I mean, it's really not even been that big a story. Do you remember when teams would get in NCAA trouble and like the world would stop spinning for half a minute while everybody paid attention to how bad the hammer was coming down? How many times as Auburn fans have we sat there with our breath held in and been like, whoo, that's bad. Right? When they announced NCAA sanctions, Alabama too. I remember I was working up in Birmingham in 2001. And everybody was like pulled over on the side of the road listening to that guy say that Alabama was staring down the barrel of a gun from the NCAA. Y'all remember that? Back when the NCAA actually had a set? I said it. I'm going to try and find this article. NCAA. Let's see here. Charlie Baker, maybe. The candlestick maker. There's a new sheriff in town. I'm going to link this article. All right, so this is from Outkick the Coverage. Glenn Gilbew used to be at LSU. I don't know if he still is. He's been around. And I quote, "There's a new sheriff in town, and the NCAA finally sounds like it may do something about NIL mess. Don't believe that until I see it." I'm going to put that in the I don't believe you until I see it category. Here's the article, putting it right here. Boom. I saw this the other day. I want to bring it up to end the show. So LSU got busted paying football and basketball players years ago. And they lost, they got some penalties. No big deal. They're just moving on. It's over. The baseball program just won a national title. Everybody shut up. We're good. NCAA didn't really do anything to them. Everybody knew that Will Wade and that LSU basketball program had been on thin ice for quite some time. And they weren't breaking the rules, baby. They were bending them as far as they could bend them without breaking them. And now in college football, basically football players, basketball players, they can get paid because of name, image, and likeness, right? And the NCAA is having a real problem because several states are passing laws basically telling the NCAA they can go screw themselves and we can do whatever we want. And now the NCAA is stepping in and saying it's all good. We're back. I don't believe it. I think it's just all talk. I think NIL is here to stay. and it's going to evolve and adapt and change. It already has in major ways. I think that college football players are getting more and more control, and I think this is why old school coaches are up in Washington, D.C., and this guy's putting articles out like this trying to claim like they're in control, and they're trying to get some type of but in this article, right, in this article, and it's a long one, in this article, Charlie Baker, the touchdown maker, the head of the NCAA, where did they drag this guy out from what rock from under? He is really pushing for, and I'm going to say it, national legislation from Washington, D.C. There it is. The NCAA has run home to mama, and they're looking for Congress to fix their problems. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is such a disaster waiting to happen. You want the squad and you want fat Jerry Nadler to fix your problems in college football? You want Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Why don't we just make Hunter Biden head of the NCAA? That'll fix it. He can be like Burisma, smoke crack and get $80,000 a month to be the head of the NCAA. This is who you want to fix name, image, and likeness is Congress. I put it to you like this. It's like the movie The Lost Boys. Vampires not coming into your house until you invite them in. But once you do, they are going to suck your blood dry. Stay out of college football, Washington, D.C. I completely disagree with you, Charlie Baker, and anybody else who thinks that Congress is going to fix NCAA athletics. You know what they want? They want a safety blanket from Congress, so their books won't be opened up, and everybody will see that for a nonprofit, they've been making billions of dollars off of college football athletes forever. Fact! They want a safety net. This guy's probably making $25-30 million a year being the president of the NCAA. Don't want to lose that job, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. I'd probably want to keep my job too, making that. Not making anything here. This is free. This is fun. From a fan, for the fan. We're Radio Free Auburn. I speak for you. You speak for me. Let's go. It's been a heck of a show, man. It's been a heck of a show. Why didn't, in LSU, did they not know better, right? You don't pay people out of a hospital fund in cash. You don't do that. What you do is when you're recruiting somebody, you go out to, I don't know, you got to Hawaii, where they're living, where everybody on earth would probably like to live, and you move them to Alabaster. You move their whole family to Alabaster, Alabama. That's how it's done. That's what you do. That's fine. That's normal. It's all good, because who wouldn't want to live in Hawaii as opposed to Alabaster, Alabama? That's where I'd like to live. That's what you do there. You don't pay people cash out of funds. You just move their whole family into Alabaster, Alabama, where nobody's going to ask any questions. That's how it's done, folks. And that's how it's done at Radio Free Auburn. Look, I want everybody to be very careful over the weekend. It's going to be very hot out there. This is dangerous heat. Check on your loved ones. Check on the pets. Stay hydrated. For God's sakes, don't drink and drive. Enjoy your cold snacks. Uber around. Careful with the fireworks. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate responsibly, but let's have a good time. I'm going to celebrate responsibly tonight at Moe's Bent Creek. All right. My man, the piano man, Blanton Callen's going to be out there. If you're in town, come join me. $3 bushies. That's $3 bushwhackers until 9 o'clock. Go ahead and get the screwball topper after you chug a bottle of water before you drink it, and chug a bottle of water afterwards. Stay hydrated. But the piano man will be out there tonight. My man Charlie Cox, come on out. He'll probably be still working. Get down to Fairway Auto Brokers. This is Radio Free Auburn, brought to you every Friday by Fairway Auto Brokers. You know the password. Go down there and tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Here he is, Blanton. The penny and the Jets. That's Radio Free Auburn. Thank you so much for being here, and God bless you. USA! 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 We'll see you Sunday for Sense of Green Sunday. Can you feel it?